What happens when the 29-year-old son of a billionaire CEO assaults a veteran, a 71-year-old from Vietnam, in the restaurant parking lot, and then he enters the courtroom of Judge Frank Caprio with 8 lawyers corporate creating a wall of legal intimidation? This conceited man is about to learn that some armies of lawyers go wrong, that some of the company's funds are illegal to use, and that some calls, telephone calls, to the Stock Exchange Commission, and values are what make your actions, fathers, plummet 40% in a single late. But what makes this case being absolutely devastating is not just assault on a veteran or ridicule legal team. That's what happened when Judge Caprio made a call to the SEC, which triggered an investigation federal. It caused the collapse of the Sterling Industries shares, cost the shareholders billions, and he forced his father, the billionaire CEO, to resign in disgrace. It's a Thursday, in the morning at the Municipal Court of Providence. The gallery vibrates with anticipation because word has spread that something unprecedented is about to happen if it happens. Marcus Sterling, 29, son of billionaire CEO Robert Sterling, the Sterling Industries. He faces charges of assault and battery against an elderly person derived from an incident at Capitol Grill 5 nights. The victim is James Martinez, from 71 years old, a veteran with a decor of Vietnam, who was having dinner with his wife because of his Marcus's 45th wedding anniversary. Drunk and belligerent, he argued with the valet for the priority of parking. When James politely told Marcus to calm down, Marcus violently pushed him against a car, causing James to fall and suffered a fractured clavicle and severe bruising. But what makes this morning, whether extraordinary or not, is not the case. Just the charges. That's what's about to happen to cross those doors into the living room court. That's how I feel. The doors are, they open the door and Marcus Sterling enters, but no, he enters alone. Behind him, filling everything, there are 8 lawyers in the hallway, not one lawyer, not 2, 8 lawyers in suits, expensive carrying briefcases, moving information such as a legal team corporate assault. The lawyer principal Christopher Blackwell de Morrison and Blackwell, one of the most corporate law firms, prestigious New York, walks directly behind Marcus. Behind he, along with 7 other lawyers, are deployed occupying an entire row of benches. They all wear similar dark suits. They carry identical leather folders with the Sterling Industries logo engraved in gold. The image is striking. It looks like a board meeting corporate, not a criminal proceeding. Several people in the gallery are panting surprised. Judge Caprio observes this entry with careful attention. Yours. Experienced eyes recognize this immediately for what it is: legal intimidation. The message is clear. We have unlimited resources, power to unlimited fire, and we're here to overwhelm him. Marcus himself wears an expensive charcoal gray suit, watch designer and hair perfectly hairstyle. He walks with casual swagger, from someone who has never faced real consequences for nothing in their life. He doesn't seem worried, he seems bored. The sheriff calls the case, the state of Rhode Island versus Marcus Robert Sterling, charges, assault and injuries to an elderly person. The Judge Caprio reviews the case file, then he looks up at the C lawyers, who now occupy a part significant of his room. Sir Sterling, before we begin, I need to understand something. How many lawyers do it? What do they represent today? Christopher Blackwell. She rises gently. Your Honor, I am Christopher Blackwell, lawyer principal. There are 7 lawyers with me, associates of Morrison and Blackwell, along with specialists in various areas of law relevant to this case. Judge Caprio's eyebrows, they lift slightly. 8 lawyers for a simple case of assault and injury. Your Honor, the family of Mr. Sterling has significant interests that to protect. We believe in representation exhaustive. I see. And who pays for it? This comprehensive representation. Blackwell. No duda. Sterling Industries, Your Honor. Mr. Sterling's father, Robert Sterling, is the CEO and shareholder. Majority stake. The company maintains a legal defense fund for members of the executive family. The expression Judge Caprio becomes very still. Sterling Industries is a company that it's publicly traded, isn't it? Yes, it is. Your Honor, it is listed on the New York Stock Exchange York under the Sorol symbol, and this a publicly traded company is paying 8 corporate lawyers to defend the CEO's son in a case of criminal assault. Blackwell moves slightly. It's within the legal framework of the company. Provide legal support to the executive families, Your Honor. Judge Caprio takes note, but not yet. He insists on it. Mr. Sterling, how does he declare himself? Marcus barely lifts his arm. View, not guilty. Mr. Blackwell, I assume that he would like to address the court. Blackwell gets up, and what follows is a masterclass in intimidation corporate legal counsel. Your Honor, we request that all charges be dismissed based on insufficient evidence, inadequate police procedure, violation of my client's rights during the arrest. And Judge Caprio, raise your hand. Mr. Blackwell, neither. We haven't even reviewed the evidence. Still, is filing motions to dismiss based on procedures that he hasn't seen it. Another lawyer gets up. Your Honor, I am David Chen, specialist in criminal procedure. I have reviewed the arrest records and I found 17 procedural irregularities, which Judge Caprio interrupts again. Mr. Chen, please sit down. Mr. Blackwell, control your team. This is not a corporate boardroom. This is a court. One lawyer speaks at a time. The third lawyer half gets up. Your Honor, if I may address this procedural. No, it is not allowed. Please sit down. If you are not subscribed, press that button right now, because what the Judge Caprio then tells you, it will show what happens when the corporate legal intimidation he encounters a judge who doesn't give in. Intimidate. Judge Caprio addresses the prosecutor. Please present the evidence. The Assistant District Attorney Rachel Kim gets up. Your Honor, do 5 nights. At approximately 9:30 p.m., Mr. Sterling was in the Capitol Grill in the center of Providence. Security camera footage. They show their arrival in their Lamborghini, already visibly intoxicated. He became aggressive towards Ballet due to priority from the parking lot. Immediately, 2 Marcus's lawyers stand up simultaneously. Objection, Your Honor. That's it. Judge Caprio's voice cuts out. Air. Both of you sit down. Mrs. Kim, he has the floor. The lawyers, they feel it, but the message is clear. They're going to objecting to everything, creating chaos and delay. Prosecutor Kim continues. Mr. James Martinez, a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran years, he would leave the restaurant with his wife after her dinner of anniversary. It witnessed the Mr.'s aggressive behavior. Sterling politely suggested that he calm down. Mr. Sterling replied, pushing Mr. Martinez violently against a vehicle, causing him to fall and suffer a clavicle fracture. Another lawyer. Get up, Your Honor. We're disputing that characterization of sit down. Mrs. Kim, please continue. Your Honor, we have multiple security images, witnesses, and medical records of Mr. Martinez. The evidence is clear. Judge Caprio signals to Secretary, let's look at the images of security. Immediately, 3 lawyers. They stand up at the same time. Your Honor, we object to the chain of custody. Sit down, all of you. I will declare you to each of you in contempt if they interrupt again. The room is tense. The 8 lawyers are implementing a strategy of constant interruption, trying to derail the proceedings by the sheer volume of objections. Play the security video. Shows Marcus's Lamborghini arrives. Marcus Sale was clearly intoxicated. Stumbling slightly, he gestures aggressively towards Ballet. James Martinez appears in the painting walking with his elderly wife. James approaches calmly, with your hands visible, clearly trying to calm the situation. Marcus turns to him, points aggressively, and then pushes James using both hands forcefully. James falls backwards against a car parked and collapses to the ground. The images are absolutely clear. There is no ambiguity. When it ends, Judge Caprio addresses Marcus. Sir Sterling, that video shows it. Violently assaulting an elderly man. What does he have to say? Marcus shrinks back, shoulders. It got in my face. Me, I defended. Judge Caprio's jaw. Sentenza. Mr. Sterling, the video shows Mr. Martinez standing several feet away from a distance with hands visible. You attacked him without provocation. Christopher Blackwell se levanta immediately, and this time another 4 lawyers are rising up against him, creating a wall of suits. Your Honor, we have experts who will testify that the video is misleading, that Mr. Martinez was actually the aggressor. Judge Caprio stands up, his voice echoing in the room. Enough, everyone. You all sit down now. The lawyers they sit down, but Marcus smiles with presumption. The strategy of intimidation is working. They are turning the courtroom into a chaos. Judge Caprio calls James Martinez to speak, the veteran. The old man slowly gets up with the arm in a sling, his shoulder clearly still causing him pain. Sir Martinez, please tell the court that happened. James's voice is calm but firm. Your Honor, my wife and I were celebrating our 45th anniversary. We were walking towards our car when I saw this young man yelling at him to the ballet, insulting him, threatening him. I approached and said, "Sir, please, calm down. There's no need for this." He looked and said, "Mind your own business, old man." I told him, "I'm just trying to help." That's when he pushed me. I fell against the car. I heard something creak in my shoulder. The pain was immediate. Judge Caprio asks gently, "Sir Martinez, how has this affected you? Injury?" "Your Honor, I am 71 years old. I served in Vietnam. I worked as a mechanic for 40 years. This broken collarbone, it means I can no longer work in cars. It was my retirement hobby. I can't lift my grandson. My wife, he has to help me get dressed because I can raise my arm." Marcus. She really yawns visibly during the victim's testimony. The eyes, Judge Caprio's eyes, glow with anger. "Sir," Sterling just yawned while the Mr. Martinez described his injuries. Marcus shrugs. In other words, it's unfortunate, but the accidents happen. My dad will write to you. A check. Problem solved. The gallery. It explodes. Judge Caprio has to ask order. "Mr. Sterling, this was not an order. Accident. You assaulted him deliberadamente. Christopher Blackwell." He gets up immediately, and this time the 8 lawyers get up with him in a perfect choreographed unison. It is clearly a rehearsed intimidation tactic. Blackwell's voice is soft, Your Honor. "My client offers to compensate economically to Mr. Martinez. Sterling Industries is prepared to offer a substantial deal." The face Judge Caprio becomes a mask of controlled fury. "Sir Blackwell, are you trying to buy your release of criminal charges in my court? Your Honor, simply we are offering a resolution practice. All 8 of you sit down. Now They feel it, but the damage is done. They have converted the procedures into a circus. Judge Caprio makes a decision. Look at the 8 lawyers, then at Marcos, luego a Christopher Blackwell. "Mr. Blackwell, you stated that Sterling Industries, a company that it's publicly traded, it's paying these 8 lawyers to defend Mr. Sterling in a criminal case. Is that correct?" "Yes." "And Your Honor is within the legal statutes of the company. Sterling Industries is publicly traded from New York." "Yes, Your Honor, what this means, it has thousands of shareholders who own parts of that company." "Yes, there, Your Honor. And the money of those shareholders, your investment is used to pay 8 lawyers corporate to defend the son of CO for assaulting a veteran while drunk Vietnam, 71 years old, for a space of parking." Blackwell is moving uncomfortable. "Your Honor, the company has broad discretion to use fund shareholders for criminal defense staff of the CO's son, Judge Caprio." He picks up his phone. "Secretary, please put me in touch with the Division of Compliance with the Securities and Exchange Commission and Values." See, Marcus sits up straight because first time. Wait for the face of Christopher Blackwell turns pale. "Your Honor, I don't think that's it. I don't think so. Whatever is necessary." Mr. Blackwell just finished to admit in a public hearing that a publicly traded company is using shareholder funds to pay 8 lawyers to defend to the CO's son in a criminal case. I think that the SEC would be very interested in. That's it. The 8 lawyers suddenly, they murmur urgently to each other. "Marcos." He looks terrified. In minutes the room's loudspeaker activates. A voice professional woman is heard. "I am the Director Patricia Morgan, Division of Compliance with the CI. I speak with the Judge Frank Caprio." "Yes, Director Morgan, thank you for taking my call. I have it." On loudspeaker in the Municipal Court of Providence. "What can I do for you, Your Honor?" Director Morgan, I have a situation that may require attention. I am presiding over a case of the SEC, criminal assault involving Marcus Sterling, son of Robert Sterling, CEO from Sterling Industries, a company that it's listed on the New York Stock Exchange. I am familiar with Sterling Industries. Director Morgan, Mr. Sterling is represented by 8 lawyers, Morrison and Blackwell's corporate interests. His lead attorney just declared in the registry that Sterling Industries, the publicly traded company, is paying the 8 lawyers as part from a legal defense fund for members of the executive family. These shareholder funds are used to defend the CEO's son for assaulting a 71-year-old veteran while drunk years in the parking lot of a restaurant. There's a long pause. When Director Morgan speaks again, her voice is firm. Your Honor, let me, to make sure I understand, a company that the company is listed on the stock exchange and is using funds from the shareholders to pay for the defense criminal case of CEO's son in a case of personal aggression. That's what it is. He just testified in my courtroom. Yes, he did. Your Honor, that is potentially fraud. Values, misuse of corporate assets for the personal benefit of families' executives. If Sterling Industries is using shareholder money, funds that should be used for purposes legitimate merchants to pay the son's personal legal problems from the CEO, that's a breach of duty, fiduciary and possibly embezzlement criminal. Marcus looks like he's going to vomit. The 8 lawyers are in complete panic, several of them writing frantically in his telephones. Director Morgan continues, Your Honor, I am opening an immediate investigation into the use of Sterling Corporate Funds Industries. I will issue citations for all the financial records related to this legal defense fund. We will also notify shareholders from Sterling Industries through official channels that your investments, they may have been misused. Judge Caprio asks, What's going on? Next, Director Morgan. Your Honor, when the market opens tomorrow and the shareholders learn that the funds, the company's resources were used for the criminal defense of the CEO's son, is Sterling shares are likely to... Industries face pressure significant. We are also freezing the legal defense fund of the company pending investigation, and Robert Sterling, as CEO, will face personal responsibility for misuse of the corporate assets. Is there anything moreover, Director Morgan? Yes, Your Honor. We are coordinating with the Division of FBI White-Collar Crimes. If we find criminal intent in evil, use of shareholders' funds, federal charges will be filed. The call, it ends. The room is absolutely in silence. Judge Caprio looks at the 8 lawyers. Gentlemen, I assume Sterling Industries will no longer fund its representation of Mr. Sterling. Christopher Blackwell gets up, his trust completely shattered. Your Honor, we need to consult with our client and with the counsel. Sterling Industries' corporate statement on our representation continues. I thought that they would. Mr. Sterling assaulted a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran. No. He showed remorse. He yawned during his testimony, and his father's company used shareholders' money to pay a legal army to intimidate this court. Here is your sentence. Assault and injuries to an elderly person. 6 months in county jail. 3 years of parole. 400 hours of community service in organizations for veterans. Mandatory anger management and full restitution to Mr. Martinez for all medical expenses and costs of rehabilitation. Furthermore, he is ordered to write a formal apology to Mr. Martinez to be read aloud in this room. Marcus is stunned in silence. The news will be out in 2 hours. La SEC investiga a Sterling Industries for misuse of funds shareholders. The stock market react immediately. The actions from Sterling Industries, which were listed at 140 O's. When the market opened, they plummeted to 88 logos at the close, a 40% drop. Billions in value for the shareholders removed. The SEC issues a statement confirming the investigation regarding the corporate funds used for the criminal defense of the CEO's son. That night, Robert Sterling, the CEO billionaire, holds a conference emergency press office. It's visibly shaken. I authorized the use of the company's legal resources. In my son's case, I thought he was within my authority as myself. Me, I was wrong. I've destroyed the courage to the shareholders, violated their trust, and I have abused my position. I resign as I take immediate effect and sell my actions to finance the reimbursement to the company for all fees, legal fees paid. Marcus Sterling complies. He's 6 months old. When he goes out, it's different. The sense of privilege has missing. Meets James Martinez. Mr. Martinez, I assaulted you because of a parking space. I yawned during his testimony. I used the money from my father's company to pay 8 lawyers to intimidate the court. I ruined my father's career and billions in value for the shareholders. I'm sorry. James accepts his hand. Mr. Sterling. He was 29 years old, thinking that his father's money, he made himself untouchable. Now he knows he's not. That's right. Money can't buy respect. Only actions can. If this story moved you, subscribe for more moments where Juez Caprio demonstrates that no amount of lawyers, no intimidation corporate, no parent billionaire puts no one above him of justice. Remember the words Juez Caprio's. You can't buy your shirking responsibility. That's the Judge Frank Caprio's legacy. That's the Director Morgan's integrity. That's the grace of James Martinez. Justice served, stocks plummeted, failed intimidation, responsibility restored. Yeah,